physical properties in Marvel Designer are quite simple too. Basically, you create fabrics here, and different fabric can have different properties. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one by click on the add button and name this guy skirt. And then I'm going to change the color to something else so we can really see the difference. Maybe something grayish, a little bit darker, maybe with some cool color on it. Not sure which one should I go for. Let's see. The original scheme is kind of like a orange kind of color. Anyway, not that important. Press A button and grab everything, and then drag the skirt fabric to the garments. You can see now they're being assigned. Okay, now for the physical property. Go down to the physical property settings after selecting it in the fabric. There are a bunch of presets you can go for, like silk, for example. And you can see since it has been changed a little bit, and that's a different physical property now. But if you wanted to do more changing, you can go to the detail by again selecting this fabric, go to the detail. Underneath physical property, you can actually tweak them here. Settings here, the first three are for stretching. Stretching weft is the horizontal way direction, like how stiff it is to stretch. Higher number giving you a more stiffer result, meaning it's harder to stretch. Stretch wrap is the vertical direction. So oftentimes for fabric, they are probably having the same amount of stretching, weft, and wrap. So if you don't want it to be stretching a lot, drag those two numbers up. As you can see, when I drag them up, the fabric basically shrinks in because it doesn't really want to stretch anymore. Okay, so drag this back. Yeah, let's go back to the skirt. I don't really want it to be that much, so maybe lower. Let's see, 50 maybe. Shear is the diagonal direction. Now that diagonal direction is kind of like in the EV kind of like way, like, you know, in this kind of like direction, how much it can stretch or shifting basically. So yeah, that can be also higher if you wanted to make it more stiff. Basically, those three numbers should be going up and down the same direction. So if those two goes up, this one also should go up. So that's the first three attributes. Moving down, bend, weft, and wrap is also is the bending stiffness of the horizontal and vertical direction. So here, if you wanted to make it harder to bend, you crank those guys up. As you can see now, they're getting more flat. It's not what we want, right? So Control D, go back. Kind of want them to be able to bend just a little bit more, maybe. That would be cool, right? Maybe lower that down. Buckling is actually, if you look at their documentation, I believe what it says is that the strength, the minimum strength that allows it to have wrinkle. A smaller value will give me tiny smaller detail. We wouldn't even see that because the fabric is actually, if you look at go here to the visibility settings of the fabric, you can check on the wireframe. It's a very simple polygon, so it's not capable of representing any complicated wrinkles. So oftentimes you don't really have to change too much unless you have a really, let me move those guys down just to make it easier to see. They will not actually change their position in the 3D view. Anyway, so unless you want to have those very tiny little wrinkles on the edge of those you know, decoration part, you probably don't really want that value to be too low. Right. And you have weft and wrap, and you have the stiffness of that. I barely visit those guys. Internal damping is the damping, density is how heavy they are, and friction coefficient is the friction, and that's everything. If you're curious on exactly how they mean, go to the documentation, and I think they're having a really crappy documentation, the worst documentation I ever seen. I have been watching or reading documentation on all sorts of programs like Unreal Engine, Houdini, Maya. This guy is crap in that case. It just doesn't really know what's going on, and it's written by different people. It's outdated, but yeah, that's all we have. So anyway, I guess it's because also they're a Korean company. I think in the Korean version, if you know how to read Korean language, you can probably get newer versions of those documentations. But yeah, that's what we have now. Alright, so that's it. Oh, one more thing. The polygon type is now triangle, right? On these guys, if you take a look at the geometry. Now that's probably not what you want. To fix that, you can change everything into quads by grabbing them again and go to the 3D garment, and there is or just right click on them, there is a quadrangulate. And that's going to take a little while to convert, and when that is done, you'll have a lot of quads instead of triangles, which looks much cleaner. Alright, I have to resimulate. Okay, so this is all I want to talk about with the physical property. Oh, one more thing before I wrap this up. Actually, we can take these guys later, I think. For now, that's the basics, right? Again, you can create multiple ones for different parts. Like if I wanted to have a new one for the belt, I can do that. Drag this one to the belt only, and I can mix belt, fabric, change the presets to the leather, and that's going to make it much more stiffer, which will help me to hold them there better. Maybe I can even just keep this color and make this color just a darker gray, so it has some more variation. Alright, that's it for the settings, and you can have multiple ones, and in the next tutorial we're going to go ahead and try our first animation simulation. Okay, see you next.